has to be number one. Yes, don't get me wrong. The gift of visitation, of healing, blah, blah, blah. All those things. But come on, people. Come on. Whew. Ha. I still have good. My body's still doing me. Hey. Whew. Oh, my goodness. 12 minutes gone past the hour of 11 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Time for us to switch our conversation for the last and the biggest one for today. And if you're just tuning in, well, my name is Jude Omamegbe. Once again, your compare, your host, your guest, at the same time on Hello Port Harcourt. Now, our last conversation is a bit of a murky one. It's heavy because it contains some stories that are macabre in nature. The very dairy, the underbelly of modern society as it truly is. We are talking about violent crimes in Port Harcourt, and maybe by extension in Nigeria. My question is this: what is responsible for the spate of violent crimes in recent weeks, months, particularly, in the past, I'd say 6 or 7 months, right? I don't go as far back as last year, but let's just restrict it. And when I talk about violent crimes, I've seen a few from, pilfering to punchings, from gunpoint robbery. How many of you have been seeing those videos on social media here in Port Harcourt of people whose cars were snatched at gunpoint? You're parked, you're about to enter your house, boom, people just come. So there's been a lot of these things going on. You get into a car with the e-hailing drivers, right? And they will advise you, they say, sorry, I can't go here or this, that. Why? Because when we go to these places, we tend to, face the likelihood of having our cars, attacked, that kind of thing. So it's happening. But it's kind of like an ebb and flow. Like there are peaks and there are troughs when it comes to these things. I take your mind back to 2020, the middle of 2020 into 2021, when, interestingly, River State, Port Harcourt, became the center of a very worrisome crime spree. The rape spree. How many of you remember that, right? Where women were being attacked at hotels and some of them were murdered. Remember this? Then people say, are we actually having a serial killer? Not just in Africa, but in Nigeria, because serial killing is really, really fun amongst Caucasians. It's highest in Caucasians, still there. The numbers don't lie. But anyway, so that was where we were back then. And after a while, it dipped. And then it resurfaced. When I say it, I'm talking about crimes. We're hearing about illegal oil bunkering, the police and the military were fighting. So you expected those type of confrontations to occur, yada, yada, yada. And then it dipped. And then it increased again as we are now hearing stories of people who were caught, with body parts, with kidnapping in a chair forest, in this forest. That, okay, then it dipped again. It's like, okay, the police were really working hard. And kudos needs to be given to the police. But what exactly is responsible for these spates? You see, recently, about a week ago, when I just returned, somebody sent me a picture before a news team took it up. And I saw it on social media about a lady who allegedly had a bit of a fallout with her partner, her boyfriend, and then she was attacked. I keep asking myself, yes, people lose their tempers. And often, if you listen to lawyers, they'll want to plead a temporary case of insanity, emotional distress. He was not in his right mind when A, B, or C happened. But what exactly gives rise to this? How come we don't see a rise in people, paying for people's taxis, paying for people's birthday parties, or giving free fuel at the pumps? You go and buy fuel, somebody's buying 10 liters, you notice, and say, God, let me just buy you another 10 liters. Why don't we have more people do that? Why do we have the spate of violent crimes? What exactly is instigating this? What is promoting this? I would like to get your views.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
017-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH. Right? Let's have a conversation this morning. Once again, please, the WhatsApp number is available for your SMSs as well. As the device is just beside me, I can quickly glance at it when I get a notification of any sort and verify. So please, those of you who don't have smart devices, you are not exempt for the conversation. Send us a text. I would love to read your view on this particular conversation. BOB is on the line from Mbiama. BOB, good morning to you. Welcome, please.
Yeah, close to me. Already, two things are involved in this matter you're talking about. First of all, I have to recognize the author of all these actions, the author and the one that is responsible for this action that we do in the scripture say. When I talk to me, you say, this is not spiritual, this is not religion. No. We hear that the devil put it.
Hello, B.O.B. Hello, B.O.B. Hello, B.O.B. Good morning. Oh, dear. B.O.B., I think the line has been severed. B.O.B., good morning. Okay, all right. I think that line has been severed. B.O.B. was calling us from Mbiama. If you know your geography very well, maybe it's on the bridge or something, I don't know. But B.O.B., thank you very much for reaching out to us. Please do call back if you can. I would love to get to hear from you. This one says, Jude, good morning. I was singing along with her energy. What, man? That's true. That song. Oh, Jennifer Hudson. Say, what was that? Good heavens. So talented. Yes. It's a very powerful song. It's from a soundtrack from a movie, Dreamgirls. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's an absolute gem of a movie. Jude, good morning. I think what's causing all of this crime is that people have forgotten what it is to fear God. These days, everybody wants to do things the way they want and how they want. And the government isn't helping matters because they themselves are also guilty. Is from Franklin in Port Harcourt. Franklin said people no longer fear God. So there was a time when they used to fear God in this state. All right. Fair. Hey, it's a fair assessment, I guess. 017-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. All right, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and X. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. But we have another caller right now. This one is Felix. Let's get to say hello to Felix this morning. Felix is speaking to us in Port Harcourt or from Port Harcourt. Felix, good morning to you, please.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr.
I have heard what you're talking about in respect of crime.
Yes.
I'm a grassroots crime observer.
Okay.
I see somewhere in Port Harcourt. Now, there is this latest trend of how these crime operators operate in Port Harcourt really. If you stay in Port Harcourt and you look at the Port Harcourt terrain very well, you find that when you go to the bus stops, you see several persons carrying one rubber or the other, pretending to do as if they are trying to load up a vehicle.
Okay.
By so doing, they get closer to the vehicles that are passing by either in the morning or in the evening. With this advantage now, they can easily have access to deprive their victims of their valuables. A simple example of this I'm telling you about is the one that happened at the Limit Junction and my one flyover, particularly. You see these guys in their large numbers claiming to be one thing or the other. I don't know.
Large numbers, you say?
Yes. They will carry something and say that maybe they are either collecting welfare money or what. I don't know who sent them. But they will be there pretending as if they are trying to aid the drivers to load their passengers. By so doing, they get closer to the passengers, to the drivers, and deprive them of their belongings, either through their window or their reading. And maybe if passengers are in the vehicle or in the bus, they'll just snatch up their phones and they'll go scot-free. The prayer I'm trying to prepare about this thing is all about if the government can see what to do about it, because most times these people do this thing scot-free and they'll claim one name of one union or the other. Look, we're working for this.
Okay. Oh, Felix. Apologies there. Felix also was undone by service disruption. So they're pretending to be representative of some official. So that's why some of these crimes are, being perpetrated. At least that's what Felix is saying. So you have those who are pretending to be from, whomever or whatever or wherever, legal in that case. They claim to have some form of legal backing, and then they would, quote unquote, dispose of items from either the driver or the tenant. I say tenants. I don't mean tenants. The word tenant just came across my screen a few moments ago. All right, so that's Felix's view. What's yours exactly? What exactly would you attribute some of these spates? Robbery, kidnapping, assault, rape, right? Once again, you have to ask yourself the questions: why? What exactly? When we were not hearing so much of it, and I'm not talking about 3 decades ago. I'm talking about 3 years ago. Like I said, if you were in Port Harcourt, 2020, middle of 2020 into 2021, there seemed to be a lot of these reports. So much so that it led to some serious policy changes for those in the hospitality business. They were always being monitored, and I think they're better monitored now than they were prior to those crimes that were committed. But then it reduced, and other forms of crimes reduced. But what's happening again? Why is it happening? Is it no jobs? What exactly is it?